Welcome, friends. Welcome back after a very long break. It's been 8, almost 9 months since we last sat down and recorded our thoughts and impressions. First off, most importantly, I want to welcome Chris to the show. Chris has graciously agreed to be the producer, editor, all-purpose handyman, my guy in the chair, the Jim to my Marlon Perkins, and we are grateful to him for that, because otherwise we would still be sitting here scrambling, probably not having a show at all. Chris came to me and said that he had listened, the 2 previous episodes I had made, and he wants to help get the ball really rolling and make this show everything that we both hope it can be. So, welcome.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate that. Well,
Thank you.
Good buddy here. Love listening to his opinion about things, as I've found myself here about every 4 weeks for a game night. So, after enjoying a couple episodes of the podcast, I really wanted to hear more of his opinions, and I think he's very intellectual and great at articulating what he feels and what he thinks, and well, he can give a lot of insight to people as much as he's done that for me. So I really wanted to push my best friend to pursue this podcast a little more, to share his opinions, and maybe along the way people will have some questions he can answer, to really have a good, healthy debate with some people on things. So I'm super excited to be a part of it. Was not anticipating on being in the picture when we first discussed it. However, that doesn't bother me a lick, so I'm just happy to be here as well.
Well, we're happy to have you, because I'd still be sitting here not putting this together, and you not giving me the kick in the ass to get back to it. And if the worst anybody gets out of it is a cheap laugh or two, then
we've done our job.
Then we've at least done that. Meanwhile, as I sit here playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider for the 4th or 5th time, trying to 100% it, I don't appear to be doing very well at all. I'm kind of stuck at the moment, but as I figure that out, hopefully we'll all learn some more, have some fun, and get this podcast rolling in a more meaningful way than it was before. Now, for those of you who tuned in for the first episode, I will mention the audio issues, the whole zipper incident of 2025. Memorable, but fresh. Oh my God, I finally did it. Now we can leave. Alright, so anyway, the whole zipper issue with the quality, hopefully we will not run into those issues now. Chris is in his producer role, brought a lot to the table to make this show better, to bring it up to a more podcast-like quality, and we are grateful to him for that.
Videos coming on YouTube soon.
Yeah, we're hoping to get this thing up on as many platforms as we can to reach more people, to engage more, make it more podcast-like. Bear with us. It is a process, but we will get there. Damn it. I almost got stuck and ran out of breath. One of the things that we wanted to talk about, that I got started in this business, because I know that in the conversation most people have now, and it bothers me, I don't know if it's, is that most people just don't know their day-to-day lives, even not their long-term goals. They don't even know. They haven't planned farther than 15 minutes ahead. Everybody's taken on very much a Vin Diesel outlook. They live a quarter mile at a time.
Absolutely.
They don't know what their dinner plans are. They don't know if they're going to the movies this weekend. They don't know hardly anything. It seems. I don't know. Is the common answer, and that bothers me in a way. I want more for myself than I don't know. I want to know what I would hope my children's future is. I want to know whether my fiance and I are going to make it as a couple. Things, and it worries me that most people aren't sure.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we can find some surety. Hopefully we can gain some of those. And if I can help that, if Chris can help that, if we can help each other, if we can help you manage that I don't know a little better, find those I knows, then this has all been worth it. But there's a lot of people out there anymore who have been able to turn their art into their living. There's a lot of people that have sought their dream. Obviously, the social media influence these days is that's where you're making your fortune. Is
large, yeah.
Social media influencer.
Absolutely.
My daughter loves to watch the Caligari's sisters. I think that's how you pronounce their last name on YouTube. She is addicted to their channel. Background, I suppose, is that they look like triplets. Actually triplets, I'm given to understand. They are all different ages, but they look very, very similar. So
I believe my kids are following the Ninja TV or Ninja Kids TV on YouTube, and then Colin Amazing, which is basically just a young kid who is living out a dude perfect life with his brothers and in his house. So yeah,
I mean, it happened for the Haktua girl, and I guess anybody can be honest if they get out there saying the right thing. Props to her. I am engaged, but props.
Still trying to know
Hey. Everybody would like to know somebody. There's lots of people I'd like to know. Some of them are well, anyway.
That's for another episode.
But if you're new to the channel, the name of the channel is something copious, something capacious, something cajunga, you'll see that on the intro. It is a quote from Wayne's World 2 that resonates with me in a very special way, because Wayne is contemplating that he wants to do something extraordinary with his life, and I think that is a common dream, a common goal that we all want to be more than forgettable dust in the sand.
Yeah.
Dust that fell apart. Dust in the wind. Thank you. Dust in the sand. I'm gonna regret that once this airs.
That's all right. I'll cut it.
Well, Chris is the editor, so thank him when that gets.
Or I'll leave it in. It's
good.
It's good.
Just to fuck with me. That's I know right. You will. Oh.
I'll highlight that moment. Give you a big head. Or...
Splash, splash, splash. But so Wayne says that he wants to do something extraordinary, something big, something mega, something copious, something capacious, something cajunga, and I feel that I want to do something extraordinary too. I never found a very great moment. I've always just done whatever was convenient. That's all the jobs that I've managed to acquire since I graduated high school. I've never found my calling in life. I found moments in life where I did good, but to have found my higher purpose, I think I'm still searching for that. I am searching for my I know. So hopefully we will find that here. I'm bringing Chris along for the ride.
That's right.
and that is where it started. That's not even where it started. The idea for the podcast wasn't even mine to begin with. It was actually handed to me by someone else. As you come to know us well, we will undoubtedly talk about the video store close to where we are and the friend of ours that works there. And
good man.
Skylar's a great man. Great man.
Hope to one day have him as a feature on the podcast. As he is very, very informational as well. And I mean, he obviously is just as opinionated. So the conversation will be able to stay very full and go on for quite some time during that episode if we can manage that. So
we will.
We keep our fingers crossed that we will pull off an episode with him in it.
We will try very hard to bring him on as a guest commentator. He's a great friend of mine and pulled me through a pretty bad spot there for a great many years. Kind of took me in as a friend when I didn't have any. I will tell that story later, but to expedite the story of why starting a podcast came up, I was in the store with him one day making a social visit, and a friend of his that I did not know came into the store, and while we were talking, and I don't remember what the conversation was, it was undoubtedly about movies or video games, comic books. These are the things I know enough, as our listenership and viewership will pick up on. These are the things that I have the most knowledge of.
A lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
A lot of knowledge.
My mind has an endless capacity for useless information. I'll say that. But we were having one of these conversations while his friend was in the store, and to interrupt the conversation, he came up to the desk and he's like, just a minute if I can, do you have a podcast? And he was speaking to me, and I said, no, I've never thought about having a podcast before. It was not on my radar. And he's like, well, I think you should. I was like, why do you say that? And he's like, well, just the way you talk and how passionately and intelligently you talk, I think you could do it and really make something out of it and do it well, and maybe make some money off of it, because he couldn't stress that enough, and I won't just regurgitate the same three thoughts over and over again, as best as I can, keep from boring our listeners, because I get tongue-tied sometimes and I just get stuck on a hamster wheel. And
these conversations are going to go down some rabbit holes that just seem to be endless.
Both
aspects.
We will get there, but we're going to have to take about 8 or 9 tangents to get there. Bear with us. Chris did his best to keep me on track.
I'm going to do my best to stay on track.
Well, once you go down the rabbit hole with that white rabbit, sometimes you're already too far gone to rope climb back up.
Absolutely.
But he suggested it to me, and it sat on my back molars for a good long time.
Yeah.
And it was something that Skylar and I would laugh about every once in a while. Hey, remember when that guy said what he said? And Skylar would be like, yeah, I remember the conversation. I'd be like, well, what if I did a thing and nothing ever really came of it until not that long ago. I don't even remember why it was. I was like, hey, maybe I should actually start a podcast.
I want to say it wasn't even 4 months, 3 or 4 months after you had that you ended up doing your first recording.
I know that I started doing voice memo a lot, and I was like, well, I want to see what I sound like.
Yeah. That's a hard thing to accept sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Because we don't sound the same in our heads as we sound out loud.
Oh, my goodness, no.
I can't even play a voicemail back. Like, I don't even want to hear what I sounded like. Just send it to them.
It was hard for me to hear my voice played back to me, even when I was a kid, because I always sounded like I had this whole Fran Drescher thing going on. Like, yes. I have a deviated septum.
Yes.
And it's just so jarring in a way. But I started making recordings and just kind of letting it marinate. Let me hear myself and whether recognize myself a little bit, see if I was interested in what I had to say, if I wanted to go, hey man, what's that wise ass? Oh, I'm that wise ass motherfucker. What did I say about this 9 months ago? I'm actually pretty damn, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And as I did that more, I got a little bit of an emotional catharsis out of it. It kind of, I remember feeling that. I was decided then on whatever course of action, whatever feeling it was, and I stuck with it. And now I'm maybe 5 steps ahead of the game, the process, the feeling, and next time it won't knock the wind clean out of my sails, and I can get beyond the next quarter mile, something like that. And anyway, however it germinated into I should actually start a podcast, we got there. The fine tuning escapes me. I've slept since then. I've cried since then. I've been angry since then. I've been happy since then. And granted, it's been almost a year, but here we are trying again, and goddamn, we're going to try a little harder this time.
We're going to make it happen.
Oh, yeah. We're going to grip it and rip it. Yeah, golly, that still sounds painful to say.
That's all right. Ease yourself into it.
Ooh, baby.
Well, one thing I did want to ask you, after listening to the second episode,
sure,
you had brought up how you had sold off a lot of your movies.
Yeah.
And it was, putting a little bit more into the video games and stuff like that.
Sure.
And you made a comment about how maybe in 6 months you wouldn't even care about your video games.
Yeah.
But I'd like to point out we are currently in the middle of a video game.
Well,
at least he is.
We're trying. We're on pause right now while I try my best to have my thoughts centered and be present in this conversation for this podcast. I'm a little distracted with the game and kind of stuck on how to get through some of the puzzles right now, so I'm putting the game on pause and trying to dial back in here.
When he does his playing, I might do a little talking, because multitasking is
not my strong suit. Not strong.
That's okay. We all have our thing.
It might be a suit, but it is not a great looking suit on me. It's not a strong suit. It's what would you say? It's an off the rack suit. It's not even a matching. See, this is what I'm talking about. Right?
That's fair. That's all right.
It's not. I don't feel like the way I.
That's right. The next one. You get him on the next one.
We'll get him on the next.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
So, have you found yourself investing into movies again?
It's gonna be very, very few and far between. Real special.
Something that really got you the first time you watched it.
Yeah.
Something you feel has a good replayability factor.
Yeah. I would say that the most recent thing I bought was the newest Superman by James, starring David Cornsweet. It's a great movie. I've watched it probably 4 times since I brought it home. Okay. And this will be one of the later recordings. I much prefer James Gunn's vision to what I eventually realized was Zack Snyder's vision for DC comic book movies. But that's a whole other Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole, so we're going to have to do that when Chris has a little more time. But so that we will cover that whole thing, but just the most recent thing I brought home was I enjoyed it a lot. It resonated with me, and in a way I haven't been able to sit down and enjoy a Superman movie in my whole life, quite honestly.
Nice.
I tried to enjoy my best, and in some ways, good parts, but I don't feel like they were executed properly, everything that's come out in my lifetime. So to see this Superman when I'm a month and a half away from 40. It was a long road getting here, but we finally did it.
That's right.
I mean, I equate it to being a lifelong Cubs fan. I mean, anybody can have a bad 108 years, but damn, we finally got there back in 16.
You're not wrong.
I was sad to.
They looked good in the postseason this year too, but we just couldn't quite. They had a battle that they were going to have to get through.
They lost that first two and came back with that two. I thought we would have, just like a thief in the night, just taking the whole rest of it. But
some games, they don't go the way you want them to.
No, they don't. But it's like, we've had 108 years of practice to be able to say there's always next year.
Yep.
I was sad that Grandpa did not live to see that. I'm sure he would have loved it, but Daddy is still around. He got to watch at least once in his lifetime. Hopefully we'll be able to pull it off one more time before, well, he's not ill, but hopefully before he eventually passes away. Hopefully we'll get at least one more in before the end comes. If hopefully it never will. Daddy will be old and he'll live forever.
Might not be wrong. Man looks good for his age.
Hey,
I'll tell you.
77 is the new 30.
I'll tell you. Man's doing well.
Sidebar, Chris had the opportunity to sit down to breakfast with me and my father this morning, and they had quite the conversation. I was very proud to see it happen so well. Sometimes it's awkward to sit down with somebody you don't normally with and be able to make chit chat, but it just...
And generally, I'm awkward having conversation with anybody. I find myself struggling to even have conversation amongst my own family members at birthday parties and events like that. So I had a very pleasant morning getting to socialize with both Gronk and his father. So it was a good time.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
For us all to be there.
I appreciate the invite.
I know. That is entirely all right. Hopefully we'll be able to make it happen again now that I know you got a little bit of freedom on your Mondays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have to make it a little bit more of a thing. He's got buddies that he has breakfast with every week pretty religiously. He has breakfast with his buddies, and one of them I managed to have a day off, and I have that breakfast with them. So now maybe I can bring a buddy to breakfast with me.
That's right.
But so real quickly, just in case you need to find us, you might be able to find us under film review, comic book reviews, video game reviews. I'm not exactly sure that there is a catch-all category for podcasts, but look for us there. Either that or just type in that something copious, something capacious, something cajunga. Undoubtedly you'll be able to find us there. Just go straight to the heart.
And that will be on Spotify. If you find us from YouTube, that will be on Spotify.
I'm not sure how isn't the right way of putting that. I haven't put a YouTube channel together. I will try to keep the name the same. If there are any changes, watch out for them. We'll try to keep you abreast as they happen. Hopefully we'll not have to change the name of the channel one way or another. So one thing I will talk about real quick that I thought was interesting is that I'm a big fan of the movie Tombstone, as I imagine most people who enjoy movies are. And I hadn't watched the movie in many years, but one of the things that I always thought was interesting was that multiple times, at least 3 throughout the film, one of the antagonist characters challenges either Wyatt Earp or all of the Earp brothers in general in some way. Either they try to get the drop on them, they challenge them outright to a duel, the final confrontation with Johnny Ringo, and in several of those instances, Doc Holliday intervenes on behalf of Wyatt Earp and by extension the Earp brothers. And it was my misremembrance that in all of those occasions, the other person almost immediately backed down from the fight, because just about everybody in the movie, Wyatt Earp to some degree included, is afraid of Doc Holliday. Like, shit your pants afraid of Doc Holliday. And so I think my of those interactions was immediately dropped trout and took off, or that the exchange was just that simple. But I watched the movie again a few years ago, and that's not exactly true. Like, most of the time when Wyatt Earp is brought, aware of the fact that he has suddenly been drawn into a confrontation, he's prepared. He's not backing down. And a couple of times, Johnny Ringo included, he tries to hold his courage and be like, all right, well, let's draw. And then Doc Holliday intervenes, and he does the whole I'm your Huckleberry thing, and that is when Curly Bill Brocious, played by Powers Booth, is the one to step in and draw Johnny Ringo away. So it's not always that person immediately just shits and runs because Doc Holliday shows up, but the element is there. I was just incorrect about the exact nature it happened under. And I started thinking about how you misremember things.
Right.
And a common bandied term anymore is the Mandela effect when you misremember something.
Which there's plenty of.
And there are plenty of examples of the Mandela effect, right?
Yeah.
But I got to thinking, well, what's the difference between just not remembering something correctly and the Mandela effect? Or have they just always been the same? So I had to Google it, and I was like, okay, what?
Right.
And the Mandela effect is more relative to a large group of people having the exact same misremembrance.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the movie that everybody thinks that Sinbad was in, where he plays a genie, is an example of that. The spelling of Berenstain Bears, and everybody remembering it being an E rather than an A, is an example of that. Like Looney Tunes being spelled Toons is apparently an example of that as well.
There's a couple other ones. Pikachu having black on his tail was another one I remember. Did you mention Fruit of the Loom?
I did not.
The Capricornia that was in Capricorn. Am I saying the word right? Capricornia? Capricornia?
I'm not sure what word you're trying to say.
I don't know. It's the woven basket like thing that all the fruit is spilling out of, more or less. Where that was part of the original logo.
Oh,
that's a couple of them that I can recall off the top of my head.
That's entirely beyond me then, because I never paid. Look, I'm an Adidas guy. All right, I don't go for Fruit of the Loom normally when I shop for my unmentionables.
That was my brand growing up.
So Fruit, I was mine, but I don't know. I just usually grab whatever looks comfortable, and I don't pay attention to what brand it is.
Yeah.
It's the way I shop clothes.
Now, to say that I remember the logo 30 years ago or 28 years ago would be a crock of crap. So we're not going to go into that. It might have, it might not have.
Well,
I did see a picture of a VHS with Shazam with Sinbad being on the cover. But to say that wasn't an edited photo or an AI generated photo is so hard to tell these days.
That there's no way for somebody to something like that they couldn't fabricate a VHS box with something like.
And I mean, anything could have been on the reel, and you just put a new sticker on the front of the VHS and Shazam.
I think most people are getting that movie confused with Kazam, which had Shaq in it back when he was putting movies together. He was also in Steel, which was based on the DC comic books character. I said comic books character. Comic cooks.
I'm keeping it in.
Gordon Ramsay, if you're out there, I think you're very. Well, I actually don't watch his show. Never mind. Bad reference. Guy Fieri, though, I don't watch him either. I'm not much into cooking shows.
All I can tell you is Gordon Ramsay likes to yell at you and tell you that it's raw.
And what Anthony? What's the guy's name? I can't remember his last name. He was another one of those big chefs. He had the show that, he's passed away. And that Bourdain, is it Anthony Bourdain? And he was on an episode of Archer where he played kind of a caricature of himself.
Okay.
And I mean, I love Archer mostly, like the first 10 seasons. After that, they get, yeah. But, so he was a guest voice on the show, and he did, a caricature of himself on the show, and I thought it was, I enjoyed it. I get a lot of cheap laughs out of Archer.
Right. Fair.
But one of the important thoughts that I want to express here that I tried to get across in the audio failed me then is, and I'm a big Jerry Lewis fan, especially his early stuff when he was just getting up into a solo career after Dean Martin took off, because he was tired of the non-stop touring and filming schedule of all the movies that they tried to do together. He did a movie called The Errand Boy that he made himself, and he gets basically hired to spy on everybody within the pari-mutuel film company within the film, and he's hired as an errand boy, one of the studio lackeys that just does whatever is required of him. And anyway, however it happens, just the film logic is that most of his Jerry Lewis antics have been captured on film, and several of the guys that you kind of lose track of over the course of the movie are sitting together watching this highlight reel of his insanity at the end of the movie. And this is after he's been drummed off a lot by the head of pari-mutuel Studios for being an absolute buffoon. And then he comes in on him watching this highlight reel, and he's incredulous. He's like, "What the hell are you guys laughing at that idiot for?" And between the three of them, they're all like, this kid's a comedy genius. I mean, this is real star power here. This is where it's at. And so the head of pari-mutuel, again, incredulous, is like, "You guys don't know what you're talking about." "Well, I mean, you might. You're a well-established film critic from New York, but what do you know about?" I don't remember exactly what his words were. I will post a link on Spotify and YouTube if I can figure out how to do it. It's a great film, but this guy is, to really drill his point home, says that anyone would kill to be able to give a performance, because it's nothing more than a form of expression, but not everybody is capable of expressing themselves clearly in a meaningful way. And I'm not using his exact words, but that's his general tone. And what he does say is they found a way to do so. They're actors, and that it's important for actors, for whoever who do these performances, to do so for the people that can't, don't know how, or would never have the opportunity to do so. And I guess that's a little bit of what I'm looking for here, is to my know-how, my opportunity to do so. It's a great movie. It's called The Errand Boy. Check it out. We will do our best to get that clip attached to this video, to this recording. But the scene resonates with me, and I think with all of you that find your way here. And it meant a lot. It's meant a lot ever since I first watched the movie. I don't know, when I was 10 years old and I first started watching Jerry Lewis movies. But check it out, The Errand Boy. Absolutely funny, but it's one of those things that you never realize what kind of powerful you're going to find in a place you didn't expect.
Right.
Like you go into a comedy, or you go into a horror movie, you go into an action movie, and some wise old throws out a perfect pearl of wisdom.
Yeah.
And it hits harder than if you went into a hard ass drama where every character is just trying to drill the morals in every scene, like hard handed, live life to the fullest because you never know when it's going to end, and time is but a construct, and there is no spoon, whatever your pearls are.
Yeah.
And that was one for me. And as go along, we'll be able to share more, and hopefully you will enjoy the ones I offer you. Hopefully you have some of your own, and I share them. I'll be curious to know what I might have missed, what else is out there. But I call it a business. Everybody's in the influencer business and the podcaster business, and I know that I get, I don't know, worried that if everybody's speaking at the same time, if there are an oversaturation of the market, maybe a billion is too big, maybe a billion is too small, but if there is such a glut in the market of people putting their opinions and their podcasts out there, what's going to bring people here? Why should anybody listen to me? The truth is, you probably shouldn't. Everybody's opinion, everybody's voice is useless to the individual, but I know that none of us get anywhere we are without help, without some kind of guidance and support. And hopefully that is what this podcast, this YouTube channel will offer everyone that finds their way to it. I know that one of the thoughts that I've had as Chris has come in and offered his support and his help is that maybe it's not going to be a viable additive to my cost of living. Maybe I'm not going to make my men off of it, but even to supplement somehow, if we if it takes off and becomes a success. I mean, you think, okay, Joe Rogan's got the biggest podcast on earth right now.
Yeah.
Well, I at least want to get to Joe. Is that a dream? Is that an attainable goal? Man, I want to do as well as Joe Rogan. And my mother, she always wants to keep me grounded. If you aim small, you miss small. But and that's not to make light of what she said or to disparage what she said, because she does have a point, but in my head I'm thinking the moon was somebody's dream once. The moon was wild.
Absolutely.
But we got to the moon. And my goal, maybe Chris's goal, I don't know what his thoughts are, but I don't give a shit about beating Joe Rogan's numbers. I've never met him. Maybe he's a nice guy. Maybe one day our show will take off so big that Joe Rogan wants to interview me. And if he does, we'll sit down and we'll have a good chat, I hope. But my goal is not that. My goal is not to make fuck you money off YouTube. My goal is just to, I don't know. If we make any kind of money off of this, I keep saying
That's all right.
It's our show.
It's all right.
If we make any kind of money off of this, I don't want fuck you money. I can provide for my family. I can do things I'd like to do as well as things that are necessary. I can live a life that's full. Because to me, that seems like an even loftier goal than the moon some days. We're all trying to do our best, I would hope, but man, some people need a lot of help. A very large leg up. Despair is easy because it's surrender. And I've surrendered a lot in 40 years. So now, fuck it, let's try something else.
Love it.
I do too.
I mean, if all else fails, maybe we make some friendships along the way. Maybe we have some listeners that become consistent and just absolutely desire wanting to know your opinion about things, and you can have debates with people on why you just, no matter how hard they try to explain it, you can't see it from their point of view, and vice versa.
Here's a question, and I thought about this yesterday. Is it more important to have someone's sympathy or their empathy? And you don't have to have a out the gate answer for that, but just let it germinate. Is it more important to have someone's sympathy where they care, and maybe they don't understand precisely, they didn't walk a mile in your shoes, but they care, they engage, they want what's best for you, they want to help you, they want to nurture and support you? Or do you want their empathy where, man, I've walked your mile, I hate your life, fuck your shoes, I know where you're coming from, and I don't agree with any of it. Which one's? Just
I'll marinate on that one.
Just let it marinate for a while.
Yeah.
Just let it soak.
That's fair.
Let the juices flow. Let them get in there. You don't have to come up with something right yet, but just when we get to the next episode, see, let me know if you came up with something, because from where I'm sitting, I don't really need somebody to empathize with me, at least in my darkest moments, because most of the time I know what decision I'm going to make, and I know, and it's not always a good one, but I know what I'm prepared and what I'm not prepared to do. But I just want somebody to give a shit.
That's fair. Okay.
And we can hash all that out at a later time. Chris doesn't have a lot of time left on his clock today, but I was wondering about it yesterday, and I'm just on the hamster wheel, and I'm like, well, is it more important for somebody to be sympathetic to you or to be empathetic? Because not always is, or am I misthinking what empathy means?
I think you got them right.
And that empathy is not just them being able to insert themselves into your situation and feel as you feel and walk as you walk. But that's not always how that's not how I used to interpret the word. Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but empathy isn't always useful.
Right.
Because someone might empathize with you perfectly, but
I thought the only difference between the two words was, one was, I have been through the circumstances you are going through, and I know what you are feeling. And the other one is, I have not been through those circumstances, but I can try to put myself in your shoes and feel what you're feeling.
Well, that's the debate and the struggle that I was in yesterday. So,
right.
If anybody wants to engage, if you have any thoughts that maybe I'm missing or better understanding than what I've had right now, I'm saying I'd rather have somebody's sympathy, because I don't need that next guy to know exactly where my head's at. It's like the conversations I've been having about turning 40. I don't really need you to feel my feelings. I would just appreciate it if you care that I had them.
Right.
It's like I can't tell you exactly what you're feeling right now, but I care that you're feeling it, and I care that you're hurting, and if you need that hug, I've got that hug. Thankfully, I've got some ride or die motherfuckers in my life.
No, that's right.
And they got me in theirs, and
that's right.
That's pretty good. Always. Always. We've been friends for 6 years and some change now.
Yes.
What really got us not started as friends, but started as making sure that we managed time at least once a month. Hopefully, we can bump up that engagement a little more. But oddly, ironically, what brought that where it is was when the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League came out on HBO. We got together because I it's a 4-hour movie, and I needed a little more audience engagement, and I needed somebody to just kind of experience that with me and to kind of keep me disciplined, because if I'm watching things myself, I will just scan right through them. I will fast forward. I will pause and get up and go to the bathroom or get started. My attention span is just it's real undisciplined. So I need somebody there to keep me honest, and honestly, I think that's part of the role that Chris is going to play in this podcast, is to keep me honest and keep me engaged and be that gentle voice that says, "The fuck you doing, dude? We haven't put an episode together in 3 weeks.
It's time to record.
Come on, man. The audience is commercial right now.
That's right. You have their attention.
We need to get that theater booming. And it absolutely rattles every. We need to get that sound recorded so that we can use it.
All right. We'll put it on the soundboard.
Yeah, we got to put it on the soundboard, because that's I just love that, because they did that in The Simpsons, right? They did it in The Simpsons, and in the everybody's like, and then that comes on, and I mean, it's so loud, it's blowing the glass out of people's eyeglasses, and Grandpa Simpson's like, turn it up, and I mean, I've sat in IMAX theaters for movies, and I don't know, after a while you just kind of accustomed. It's not like rattling the change out of your pocket anymore. I mean, it's loud, but it's not like you're just constantly hearing cannon fire over your shoulder anymore.
Right.
It's like, okay,
yeah.
I'm back in. But so I don't see. Where were we?
Zack Snyder. Well, what initially got
Thank you.
our occasion started.
Well, that's where Chris and I managed some kind of time for each other outside of working together, and just the idle, oh, well, see you tomorrow started. We got to sit down and watch the Zack Snyder Justice League. Chris was gracious enough to take a day off of work. You had the day off. I took the day off work.
Yeah, you took the day off work.
I
was already scheduled that day.
I don't work for Pepsi anymore, but I actually called in that day just so I could stay home and watch that movie.
That's right.
Chris was gracious enough to come over and sit with me despite obligations and other demands of his time and efforts and energy and emotion.
I requested the day off quickly. I requested it early because you let me know ahead of time. I had a little more flexible of schedule than he did at the time.
I say it's irony because even though his name is on it, I still enjoy that movie. I enjoyed what came to theaters, but there's a lot of what he wanted to. I will preface here and say that for the later episode, there's a lot of what he wanted to do that I don't agree with all the way around the fence. But what was there, at least with his version of justice, I was still able to enjoy in a way that I just could not watching Batman v Superman, or at least the first 2 hours of it. I will say that as much as everybody memes the hell out of the you gotta save Martha moment in that movie. Watching it, I'm not ashamed to say I teared up a little bit. I felt the feelings. I went through all the things. I think the way he wanted them for me, for the viewer, not me. If he wanted it for me, the movies would not be what they were. But
Gronk's cut coming next.
but I at least appreciated that moment as much as everybody makes fun of it. Oh, well, we found common ground because our mothers share the same first name. What is that? But I still appreciated there. And after that, the movie gets marginally better. Still, I don't agree, and still that will be a later episode where we discuss the meat and two veg of all that. But anyway, that evening happened. We watched this movie together, and it really kind of set us off on a friendship that is going strong many, many years later. Because it's a hard task to be real friends with some people.
Absolutely.
Almost nobody. That's way too broad a generalization. But a lot of people ain't genuine. They're very careful about their conversation. They're very too socially aware and focused. I think maybe I'm not.
Or opinionated.
Yeah. You're just constantly like I gotta shift, do all this maneuvering just so my social status doesn't suffer. And Chris and I became friends just because we engage well with each other. We had the same conversation. We understand each other's energy. I understand all the events of Chris' way they played out the way that he did, but I understand the man sitting next to me now, and I can relate to him. I can relate to him as a husband, as a father. I can relate to him as a friend, and those are very important plateaus to be able to meet somebody on.
Absolutely.
In a basic human level, can I meet and appreciate you as a person, as a fellow human being, as a fellow male, on all these different plateaus. Chris and I have been able to meet each other and appreciate each other and respect each other, and that is what has allowed us to keep our friendship going.
Absolutely. And Titanfall 2 plays a big staple.
Oh my goodness, what is it, 5-6 times we've gone through that now?
6, 7.
Xbox and PlayStation?
Yeah. That's just how many times we played it together. I've played it 6 times on my own. Not that the storyline is very elongated by any means, but it's just, I enjoy it very much. But it was all over. I still remember the conversation to this day. I believe it was right after we watched the Justice League and we saw that movie. Gronk came into work talking about how he saw a post about a bunch of different had one part that made the game worth playing, and he had shared his interest in at least checking out that one thing. And ironically enough, just a few short years before this, I had bought a copy of Titanfall 2 on a whim because it was on sale at Target, and I was like, sure, I'll give it a try. And I fell in love with the storyline of the game itself, and they've talked about making a new one that doesn't play out in the same galaxy. However, I'm highly anticipating what comes next for Respawn and what have you. But I mean that was what started the idea of game night. That's brought us to playing various different games, from the Call of Duties to Halo. Currently in the middle of Tomb Raider, seeing a little bit of, what was one you was playing, Metal Gear Solid?
Metal Gear Solid Delta, the Metal Gear Solid 3 remaster that they just put out back at end of August, I think it was. End of August? That sounds right.
I think my man here owns roughly like 440 games, 450 games. Last time we checked, it was just shy of 400, and
let's
collection has went up since.
we'll have an exact number by the next episode, but just to give you an idea, I have 288 titles on my Xbox, my Series X alone.
And this is not Game Pass games of any sort. This is owned games.
Yeah, this is just straight the titles I own. Of course, I wonder, like right there, that's Doom and Doom 2, and then all the offshoots on one title, and then they do that down here with Heretic and Hexen.
Yeah.
So do you have to add that number?
I mean, I would have to say that you probably do.
And then there's 2 more right there with the original Tomb Raider games, because each one of those titles is 3 games.
Yeah.
So it's the number is significantly higher, and this is just my Xbox, and I got a bunch of
Ezio series collection has.
That's 3 games.
Yeah.
Let's see that now, because PlayStation on your library structure there, BioShock and BioShock 2 are 1 tile.
Gotcha.
So we will have the fine-tuned number for the next episode, but it is a lot, and I have gone through maybe a 15th of that number I've actually played. You just, things go on sale, and it's like, hey, this game that's normally $40 is only $3. Well, I've always wanted to play that. Fucking get it, man!
How do you pass it up?
How can you pass up a deal?
Not passing up a good deal.
And is that what it is, that you just the human mind is, we can't pass up a good, even if you're buying garbage, even if you're buying, I mean, just literally, even if you're buying a bucket of wet squirrel shit, if it's a good enough deal, some part of your brain is like, I'll find a use for it.
Right.
I guess that's the way that the marketing people have brainwashed us,
yeah.
But I don't know, I'm into shooters, and I'm into adventure games like the Tomb Raider games and the Uncharted games, and I'm into hack and slash games like Devil May Cry, and I would guess these Castlevania games, although I've never played them, but another thing that Skylar got me into was the show on Netflix.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, Castlevania was games before it was movies. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess I've heard of those, and I think that they're hack and slash style games. Bayonetta, that is another great hack and slash game. Very, very much a Devil May Cry clone, but even on its own, it is fucking stellar. I love it, and I hate that I have to somehow track down a Switch and pay $50 almost a pop to get the remaining Bayonetta games just to play them. That seems like a giant.
50?
At least 44 and whatever the change is.
So they're selling the new Switch 2 games for like $80 a piece. It's an SD card, dude.
This is just me, but I am boycotting Nintendo until they fix the shit, because that is unacceptable. Those games have been out for 8 years, and they are still almost $50.
Yeah.
And Nintendo is jacking around the prices of all their stuff right now.
Well, they must obviously understand the market better than Xbox and
they have
PlayStation.
They have not put Donkey Kong 64 out there for consumption on their online store nowhere since it came out on the 64. You ask me, they don't understand shit.
Well, if I understand correctly, Nintendo is doing the same thing. Excuse me. They're doing the same thing that PS Plus and Game Pass are doing, where you have access to via paying your subscription. So like you can play Game Boy games on your Switch. You can play Nintendo 64 games on your Switch and what have you, just as long as you're paying the monthly subscription.
Obviously I don't have the insider information to comment perfectly one way or another.
Right.
But I know that I started watching, because I Googled it. Is Donkey Kong 64 available on the Switch? Is it something they're working on? Is there going to be a remaster? Is there a Santa Claus? These are the questions of the day.
That's right.
And and so I'm trying to do it, a modest bit of research.
Right.
And one of the suggested articles slash videos on the subject was a guy who was under the impression that they weren't going to do it because it was not technologically feasible to move it from one to the other. Like the way it was, the code that it was wrote on the 64 was so complex and impossible to convert and translate that it just couldn't be done. And I'm like, okay, even if you factor in that you had to play it on that expansion pack, there were all kinds of games where that was true, and they still managed to move them over.
Right.
Perfect Dark, you had to play on that expansion pack, and they moved that over to the store. I don't know if we'll have that information next time.
Yeah.
But there's so many games. There's so many games. It seems incomprehensible to me. We didn't want to do that.
Yeah, that seems like such a big profit miss. Because the only thing that's happened with the 64 games anymore is they're getting recycled at buy-sell trade stores. Nintendo's not making any money off of that, so why would they hesitate?
That's what I think. That is what's happened to the video game industry, is that they're losing a mint off of the buy-sell trade shops.
Yeah.
So they're trying to recover those, especially with like the sports games like Madden or NBA 2K or the Call of Duties. I mean, you play them once, you beat them, you platinum the hell out of them, whatever you got to do with them, and then you turn them around to buy-sell trade shops, and the next guy buys it for 40 instead of 75. Well, all of a sudden, Activision just lost out on 75.
Yeah.
And 75 so many times that now Microsoft is basically trying to become the umbrella of the video game.
I think that's why digital became such a big thing too, because now we're making money for everybody that wants to buy it, as long as you're not in the same family group or whatever. At some point or another, we will put together maybe a short video or something just to give you an idea of the list of games that are. So maybe some of you've had a great experience with one of them, or you thought, man, that storyline really captivated me. Have you tried it? We can always put it here and give it a run through, and that could be another episode's conversation one day.
Do our best to get our hands across a copy of it, and maybe invest a little more and keep it handy just in case it's something that I don't like and don't want to keep on the console forever, because there's.
I think it's supposed to be $30 a month now for Ultimate. Yeah.
What do you do with that?
Apparently you just pay it. You better play every game.
Side note, I may start a channel that is just reviewing games and playing games so that I can make that extra income to be able to afford all these games.
Sponsor us, Xbox.
Start a Let's Play channel, please.
Microsoft.
Let's do it.
Sponsor us. We will give all the feedback good on your game.
Send it here. I will gladly.
We'll talk about Activision.
We'll quit. We'll get started as Let's Players. You're gonna love the channels. We might have 100 of them before it's all over with. But
you pick your favorite. That's right.
Look at it. What is it? The Assassin's Creed Chronicles game, I think, is the only one I don't have. And we played Assassin's Creed on this, and it kept glitching out so bad. Like you were just walking through walls, and then you get stuck.
Yeah.
And some games, when they move over, they're bad ports, and they fix all those bugs, but. Some games you just lose them because you're not playing them on the old system anymore.
Yeah.
Like the TV is just moving faster than the rendering.
It's like that one, what was that X-Men game you were playing? Wolverine?
Yeah.
That one was hard.
Wolverine Origins back on the PS3.
That hurt my eyes at some moments.
That's why I got all my older systems that had RCA cords or not HDMI.
You're right.
AV jacks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I think RCA is a different thing, but they got AV jacks, and there's only, most TVs aren't being made with them, so I had to get a real old TV that still had AV jacks to be able to play my Xbox and my PS2 on. And just as an aside, just sidebar, I threw the PS3 on that one, hoping that it was, far back enough in quality that it would not.
It's not trying to render it faster than it's capable, basically.
Yeah, and I would be able to play the game without basic. Stroke. I'm having a stroke, anger stroke, trying to play, finally beat this game, because I never got it beat the first time I tried to play it, and I owned it on and off. Man, I want to get the Spider-Man games back.
One day.
Y'all, if we get this channel kicked up far enough, the Spider-Man PS3 games, all of them, if somebody wants to send me those, we'll throw you a pretty big shout out. We're trying to get them back in the collection, because I made the mistake of buying and then purging and then trying to buy again and then purging again, because I don't know, it was Thursday or whatever.
This is a habit.
Yeah, I'm trying to do better about that, so I'm getting it one more time. It's coming in, it's staying in, and...
Oops, sorry.
Ow!
Attacked you.
Actually, it's not really ow, I just reacted, but that's alright. Jerk.
Sorry. Not that I did on purpose.
It's all part of the show, folks. But I don't know, and Skylar actually commented on that one time. I was in the video store, and it was like the 8th or 9th time that I had brought a stack in just to like move it over to PS4,
yeah,
or move it from PlayStation to Xbox. And he's like, "Dude, you are giving me hives with this. Buy the game and keep it, or stop buying it."
Needless to say, he's come accustomed to the lifestyle at this point, because he doesn't say much anymore.
It's I don't know. It's an emotional. I get an emotional catharsis. It's like I'm having this bad spell or whatever it is, and I just need. I don't know. I'm trying to make feel bad feel better, to use your phrase, and
right.
Pick that up from you.
Do what you got to do to make him feel good.
Got to make feel bad feel better.
That's right.
And so, I don't know. I'd go hang out at the video store, and what's new in here? Nothing. Okay, well, I'm gonna go look around for a few minutes. Then I'd put a pile of things together that I didn't really care about at all, just because, you always feel better if you walk out the door with something.
Money feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good.
It's like chocolate or other things. It's like, that shot in the arm, and
yeah. Not wrong.
Unfortunately.
Not wrong.
But so I did that often enough, and Skylar noticed the trend, and he noticed it enough. He got annoyed by it, and he's like, I mean, it's obviously, I've said it already, so I'm not going to say it a second time just to spin the hamster wheel around again. But I never thought anything about it. I mean, I guess I knew I did it, but I never really
processed it.
And then I was like, oh, something to be self-conscious about.
Yeah, we all got some we're self-conscious about, don't we?
Yep. Unfortunately. But there's so many. And everybody wants you to feel self-conscious about everything. Because if you're self-conscious, then you're more likely to go out and spend your money trying to buy things that make you feel less self-conscious.
Yeah. I mean, that's the market, isn't it?
It's a market built on exploiting your insecurity.
Yeah.
And
emotions.
I fall prey to it just like everybody else does. Hang-ups. I'm not going to be self-righteous and say I don't. I'm sure Chris would agree he does as well.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Pokemon would not be the thing that it is today if that weren't true.
You talk about video games. I'm so tired of Pokemon. You can't find Dollar General get sets. You have 6 hours from the time they open to buy them, because they only get 6 boxes or 6 sets, whatever they may be. And I mean, I got somebody at the dollar store that will usually let me know early on in the day, hey, I'm opening a box of them. And if it's not a payday, and payday comes tomorrow, they won't be there for payday. I learned that literally last Wednesday. So
to break the conversation for a minute, not because of anything you said, but just because I want it to be clear that there's never an intention, I don't think, in this channel to be deliberate of anybody's preferences, anybody's hobbies. They're just things that I don't enjoy, just like things Chris doesn't enjoy. There must be a market for them of people who do. There was a time when I was into Pokemon. It was about 15 minutes, but it was there. And, it's just like, these creatures are kind of cute, especially the fox-looking one that was on fire, and it was like first-gen Pokemon.
Ninetales.
You'd have to tell me.
Vulpix, actually. Ninetales is the evolved form.
But I played the games very briefly when they were on one of the Game Boys or something.
Yeah. There was some Game Boys, some Game Boy Advance, and then they went into DS.
And I watched the cartoon for a little bit.
Great series.
And my nephew is into it today, but he used to collect the DVDs, the cartoons, and whenever we go anywhere, my phone that they had the video, the monitor in there that you could watch, and so to entertain him, my mother would put in one of his Pokemon shows, so I ended up being
familiarized,
present for that. I won't say subjected to it or tortured or anything like that, but I ended up being present for him experiencing that, so I experienced it as well.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, that's colorful. Wow.
A lot of excitement.
I think it was one of the Mewtwo movies, something like that. I don't even remember. It's been that long ago. He must have been 6 or 7 when he was watching all those DVDs. Maybe a little bit older, but I know I was watching
this
one.
DVD, it's not. It's a VHS. You're talking about the Mewtwo movie because that came out in like 2000.
Well, it was.
That was the first big Mewtwo movie to get released. Was I think Pokemon 2000.
Well, I know it was on DVD, but I think it was Mewtwo. I've got an official record
might
somewhere.
Might be Mewtwo Strikes Back. I think might be the name. Don't quote me. I don't know all of them.
I don't know any of them. I'm gonna sit here and say that now. I don't even remember. I know it had Mew or Mewtwo in it, and
they pretty much go hand in hand.
I watched it basically because it was on, not because it was my preference.
Right. Because
I was stuck in the car, but I don't. He enjoyed it, and that's just kind of the way my folks were, and not necessarily to entertain him so that he would stay quiet and manageable, but because you want your children, you want your grandchildren, you want the people you love to have the things that give them a smile in the world that really doesn't care whether, because life is going to move on around you regardless, and why not try to give people as much joy as you can?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why everybody does anything. That's why there are video games. That's why there are movies. That is why there are so many forms of entertainment, just because you want to.
We're on the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
Whatever that may mean for you.
And that's why my movie collection was so big at one point, but I stopped collecting because I don't call it that the film industry changed so much. I don't enjoy it anymore. But when every year it's like, okay, these 45 movies that I just bought last year in a Blu-ray collection are now coming out in 4K one at a time. All the fucking space that's going to take up. I mean, I bought all those the thin package just to slim down the physical room that my collection took up, and now they're coming out, bing, 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 and I can't keep up. And
you look like you got some space on your game rack.
Well, that's where they used to sit.
Oh, well, that's why. Okay. You also got some space on that bookshelf.
That's where they used to sit.
Oh, that's where some pretty 4K movies could be sitting.
Well, I don't want to. That's not the hobby anymore. I will watch a movie. I'm collecting digitally. By the way, if anybody has a platform where you can buy digitally and download and like move that download on a hard drive so that I can still collect the movies without having to worry about an internet connection or streaming them through Vudu or streaming them through Movies Anywhere. If anybody knows that website, send me the link, because that's kind of I'd be able to have it physically and not be dependent on an internet connection. I don't know, just in case the world ends tomorrow.
Well, I mean, don't you? What happens when you get a movie and it has a digital download? Are you not able to copy that to a hard drive?
Well, the only way I've seen it work is through my phone.
Oh.
Like I have the Vudu app, and I can download it through the Vudu app and run it through the Vudu app, and the movie is saved to my phone.
Okay.
I found a way to download it from like the computer to the hard drive, and then take the hard drive off the computer, put it on the TV, and play that way.
I got you.
And that is the dream, is to be able to do it that way.
I think that's illegal.
Well, it probably is. There's so many fucking copyright laws. All of them stack up on top of each other so that everybody in power keeps their power and keeps their money.
Right.
And the rest of us are stuck with whatever's left.
Copies of movies.
And now there's the whole, do you own the thing itself, or do you own do you rent the license to use it until they say, well, we've changed the license, we've changed the copyright, now we're reaching through the internet connection and erasing the material,
right,
so that you can't use it anymore. How many times already with movies, with video games?
I don't know about movies. I'm not even sure about video games that they've necessarily done it, but I mean, they're constantly shutting down an old console store as they progress to the new ones. They just announced they're shutting down the PS4 store,
which I think that is largely just because you can do so much with the PS5,
right,
that there's no need for PS4,
right,
the PS4 store. And I want to, and that's real. I think that is to get people engaged and to get people to move away from their PS4 to the PS5. I mean, I know they're doing some cagey things to try to sell you a console, but I'm less angry about it there, and maybe I should be. Maybe I should be angry about it, but I'm less angry about it there because the PS5 can basically run all those things.
Yeah.
It can run so much of your common principal PS4 titles,
right,
that I'm less concerned with that.
Fair.
Now, tell me where I'm wrong, and I always say that, tell me where I'm wrong, educate me. I am willing to listen. I'm willing to hear where I might not have the correct information. I believe Chris will be as well.
Absolutely.
Educate. Maybe we don't have everything. Maybe we don't have all those, the ducks are not, straight in line. Maybe one of them's over there, maybe one of them's stuck in the...
You didn't see my post I shared the other day?
No.
Said something about, I may not have all my ducks in a row, but your ducks must hate you for making them line up.
I didn't see that, but that's pretty good.
Well, it would appear we're running out of battery power on the laptop at the moment, and it is also about time for me to head out for the day. So
I'm real excited about this. I don't want to totally disengage you from trying to close, but just the way that this episode has
started off,
has gone and shaped itself, I'm digging it. Like I'm feeling that this is going to be a good track. This is on the right track. If it's not going to be a great big thing that we're imagining, it's at least going to be good for us.
Oh yeah.
And it's going to be fun for you and me to...
And I think it'll be far better when we get a little more interaction doing it live.
You know?
When we get ourselves on YouTube and start getting the interaction from people, I think it's going to go. I mean, the episodes are probably going to fly by.
I mean, especially the one like when we just go when we fully go to streaming rather than just like
podcasting.
printing an episode and then putting it on Spotify or whatever the platform is. It's gonna be a great hang, just great fun.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this.
Oh, we are.
We're looking forward to it with you guys too.
Come on along. Something copious, something capacious, something cajunga.
Absolutely.
Right on, brother.